Hey guys! Today I'm gonna be showing you guys how you can make your very own superheroes in Fortnite Creative. So, today we're going to be making our own superheroes. How exactly are we going to do that? Well, we're going to make a different class for every superhero we want to make. So we'll need a class selector and a class designer. You can just grab them from your creative inventory. We'll need both of these devices. The selector is to, well, select our class, and the designer is to literally configure it and say exactly what perks and what abilities every hero has. So let's start with that one. Place it down and then configure it as followed. The first thing we'll need is, well, we'll need to figure out which superhero we want to make. I think the Hulk is a great one to start. First, we're going to set the class identifier to 1. Every superhero is going to have a different ID, and this is later literally to just, say which class we're working with. And then let's go through all the options that we can change. Let's start with his health and shield. Let's up that to about, 1,000 or whatever, because the Hulk's pretty strong. But he's not the fastest, so we're going to lower his movement multiplier a little bit. Let's see what else we can do. Fall damage definitely set to off, and maybe let's give him low gravity as well, so that he can kind of do like a Hulk smash, something like that. It's all about, finding a cool configuration that would fit your superhero. Let's see if there's anything else. Region, health on elimination, nothing really that goes with the Hulk. So we'll just keep it with that. Something else we can do is we can also give him items. Let's see if there's some consumable that we can somehow link to the Hulk. Let's see. Ooh, the junk rift could be cool. To create some sort of Hulk smash effects. Just grab one, then go to your play inventory and just drop it right on the class designer. Now everything that you drop on this, just like an item spawn or anything like that, will be granted when we change the class. Next up we need the selector. Now the selector is really just to bind this to our class. And how do we bind it? By using the same idea. So before we set the Hulk is class identifier 1, and here we're going to set the same. We're also going to set that we instantly want to change, and let's change the color to green so that we can easily recognize green for Hulk makes sense. And all the other options we can leave as is for now. Okay, let's give this a test run. We start the game, you can see I'm slow, my health is normal, 100, everything's normal. Then as soon as I change, my health is up, I now have low gravity, and I have my junk rift to do a, Hulk smash. Perfect. Time to design a second superhero. And we're just gonna copy over both the selector and the class device. Now, let's do the selector first because we're closest. All we have to do is say, well, class ID is now going to be 2, and let's change it to red. And which superhero can we do that's red? Let's make Superman. He's pretty overpowered, so we're gonna have to overwrite quite a few options. I'm gonna clear the items and reset all the options, just so that we have a new class designer. Let's make Superman. The class name doesn't matter, but it helps you keep control of it. Class ID is set to 2. And now let's go through the options. Max health, yeah, we'll definitely up this a little bit as well. Not as much as the Hulk, but definitely higher than normal. Let's see what else we can find. Let's give him some extra movement speed because, well, it's Superman. He's not the Flash, although debatable, he is very fast. What else? Ooh, we definitely need to give him flight. It's Superman, he needs to be able to fly. And he's got X-ray vision, so something like, player names and locations so that he can see where everybody is. Everything that you can imagine that works with the superhero, you can configure right here. And let's see what items we can give him. Although the options were very clear, I think for Superman, it gets a little bit more complicated adding items. I was thinking the storm flip at first, but actually the storm flip might be really good for Thor. So let's save that for our next superhero. Maybe in the weapons? If only we had a laser sort of weapon, that would be really cool. But now let's just take something explosive, Superman can always blow stuff up. All we have to do, same again, is just drop it, the class designer will absorb it, and then every time we change class, it's going to grant this weapon. Now finally, let's make a third superhero. Because of the items that we saw, let's make Thor, God of Lightning. So this is going to be our third superhero, so the class identifier is going to be 3. Now other things that we have to change, definitely also, give him a little bit more health. He is a superhero, he's stronger than normal. Let's see what else. Movement speed, I wouldn't give him extra movement speed. I don't think he's that fast. And actually, Thor is a hero that has more his powers, lightning, which we can better represent with the items. So I'm just gonna give him low gravity and no fall damage so that we can simulate kind of like him jumping up and just leave almost everything as is. But again, you can create anything you want. If you want to create the Flash, you should definitely use stuff like instant reload and fast movement speed. And now for the items, let's go back to our consumables tab and definitely pick the Storm Flip, God of Thunder, the Rift to go, and maybe Zapper Traps, anything that relates to lightning works. And just drop them down and have the class designer pick it up. And then finally, we'll have to also change our class selector. So I set it to 3 and let's give it a different color, anything blue or aquamarine or anything, that represents Thor. And that's it for the first part. Now, before we start testing it, I do want to add Hud Devices because later we'll be implementing channels, so it's good to already have this in place. So I'm going to add a Hud device for every one of the superheroes so that you know which one you check to. Actually, let's just configure one and then copy them over. First, let's say you are now the Hulk. Then lower the time from round start to 0 because we don't want it to show up when the round starts. Let's change the player to triggering players so that only who changes actually gets the message, obviously. Change the style as you want. I'm gonna put it top center and I'm gonna set this to receive or show when receiving from to channel 1 because I don't have any channels right here yet. Now the only issue is we need to know when exactly that is. So we can use the class device saying when a player changes, transmit on to channel 1 and it's going to show our HUD. Later we'll change this around and actually change the player using different items. But for now, let's just use this when changed, transmit on to channel 1, 2 and 3. And now we'll just copy this over and say you are now Superman. Then scroll down, change the channel to channel 2. And now copy it over one more time and say you are now Thor. And then again, scroll down, transmit on to, show when receiving from to channel 3. Perfect. Let's give this a test run and see how we are. Quick side note from editing Utah right here, I seem to have messed up the Superman weapon, so we didn't get the quad launcher. Anyway, let's go. So we run the class selector and we are now the Hulk. As you can see, we have low gravity just like we tested before and we can do our Hulk smash. Okay, let's change to Superman. Superman, remember what we said, he has flight so he can fly around, he has extra movement speed, extra health, all of that. And then finally, we have Thor, who is, God of Lightning, has thunder traps, storm flips, and rifts. Anything that even slightly relates to thunder. Perfect. Now, to expand on this just a little bit more, we're going to take one more step and change this from class selectors to using orbs. You can use whatever you want, you can use buttons, triggers, but I like to use orbs. So go to your class selectors and now we're not going to say when class change transmit on, but we're going to say change the player to a class when receiving from channel 1, channel 2 for Superman, and channel 3 for Thor. And now we can bind whatever we want, anything that sends a signal, to change us to that class. If you want, you can even use like sentry kills to have it every time you kill a sentry, you have a chance to become a superhero, an RNG device, anything you want. But to show this, I'm gonna use orbs because they're a pretty cool representation. You can find these in the power-ups gallery and the power-ups device. So delete the fries, those are for grind, and just take one of these orbs. I'm gonna leave the damage power-up because we can apply that to Superman actually. Now, let's change it. The first thing we'll have to do is say the effect duration. And let's change this to infinite because once a superhero, always a superhero, right? Then change the time to respawn to instant so that other people can pick it up as well. I'm gonna remove the sound because we're gonna have multiple orbs. And then set the when item picked up, transmit on to channel 1. which means we're gonna change into the Hulk. And to make it more clear what superhero, I'm also gonna make this orb green. Then just copy it over, change the color to which one? Superman. So let's change it to red. And all we have to do is change the channel. And now one more time for Thor. So color blue or aquamarine. And then all the way to the bottom, transmit on to channel 3. And now finally, I'm also going to give Superman a little bit extra damage by using this damage multiplier. You can't find this in a class device, so that's why we use it. The only disadvantage is, even though we set the sound to off, it still applies this, purple glow to it and sound. So be careful what superheroes you apply it to, because we can't remove that sound or visual effect. So now when we pick up the Superman orb, we're gonna get all the options from the class device, but also gain a damage boost from the power-up. So let's start and check if our superheroes work. Game starting, we have our 3 orbs here. Let's start with Thor. We pick it up and we have all the items we need. Next up, we can change to the Hulk and we can now do our Hulk smash. Perfect. And then finally, we can change into Superman and just fly out of the storm. And that's it, guys. I know that for a lot of people this seems quite easy, but I've had a lot of requests on how to make this, and with the new season just around the corner, I thought it'd be a perfect way to introduce you guys to how you can make your own superheroes in Fortnite Creative. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Actually, even if you're not new here, hit that like button, it really helps. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace!